2K Sports, you're watching the NBA. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder up against the Sacramento Kings. Now our broadcast swings to Sacramento, where Kevin Harlan, Clark Kellogg, and Steve Kerr have the call.
And we see the Kings getting ready to go. This is NBA Basketball on 2K Sports. Coming to you on this Tuesday night. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan, joined by Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr with Doris Burke reporting from the sideline. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. First for the Thunder, Russell Westbrook out there with Hayward. And at center, it's Marcin Gortat, the 6'11 versatile scorer and finisher, known as the Polish Hammer. And it's Durant, and it's Ibaka in at the 4. And then for the Sacramento Kings, and the big fella inside out of the University of Kentucky, the unbelievably gifted and powerful pivot man, DeMarcus Cousins. Then there's Batum, and it's Young in at the 4 slot.
There's no question the big news for the Sacramento Kings is they're still the Sacramento Kings. After a nail-biting last couple of years, they saw the team flirt with moving to Virginia, Anaheim, Las Vegas, Seattle. Finally, a new ownership group committed to keeping the team in Sac.
And for all the Kings fans, what a great victory. Former 3-time NBA All-Star and Sacramento native son, Mayor Kevin Johnson, instrumental in securing financing for the new arena, and Steve campaigning with the league's owners to keep the team in Northern California.
I think it surprised everyone, Kevin. Seattle made such a strong bid. I think most people felt the team would end up in Seattle, but Johnson did his job. Sacramento stepped up to the plate, and I think it's great that the Kings get to keep their team, and hopefully Seattle will end up with one in the next couple of years. Tough break for the defense. He took the heat and drew the whistle.
Yep, but when you get there late, that's what happens.
A look from Durant. Another shot. And it's Gortat getting it to go. Gortat's got the opening field goal of the game for the Thunder.
And they get on the board first.
Looking to set the tone early.
And here is Singleton. Back to Matthews. There's the triple. And that one's good.
Oh, he's going to keep banging those home if you give him that much space.
And here's Westbrook.
Wes Matthews was undrafted out of Marquette back in 2009. But he ended up not only making the team in Utah, but starting as a rookie for the Jazz. He solidified himself as a quality wing in this league, and he's a tough defender who can make the outside shot, and you always know what you're going to get from him at both ends of the floor.
And that one misses. And Clark, you talked about the toughness for Wes Matthews until last season. You know, Steve, he had never missed a game.
250 straight games to start his career. He's battled through pain to always try to get the job done for his teammates. One of my favorite players in the league. Just a tough, physical player who can knock down threes. It's somebody you want on your squad.
His dad played in the NBA for a while.
That's right.
And he sinks the second.
You know, it wasn't that the Thunder were beating teams last season. Everybody expected that, but it was the way they were blowing out teams on such a regular basis that caught everybody's attention.
Now, here's Batum. There's the feed to Singleton. Launches it. It's rebounded by Durant. Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Kevin, I had a chance to catch up with Scott Brooks. He told me he's wary about how they'll contend with DeMarcus Cousins inside. He said he's a beast in there, no doubt about it. Size, length, strength, and a ton of skill. The talent is really off the charts with him. And guys, he knows it won't be easy to muscle Cousins away from the rim, but he said that's what they've got to find a way to do. It won't be easy.
Thanks a lot, Doris. Here's Batum. Kevin Durant picking up that last basket. Just 5 to shoot. Fires from deep. They get the rebound. Cousins. And Durant sends it back. Now about 2 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Hayward kicks to Gortat. He passes to Westbrook. Ibaka. Back to Westbrook. Rebound by Singleton. And for the Thunder, they were blowing out teams on a regular basis, as you said, Clark, and ended plus 9.2 as the scoring differential in their games. Steve Easley, the highest mark in the NBA.
Well, just think about that for a second, Kevin. I mean, that means your average game is almost a double-digit win. And not just wins we're talking about all games. So that's the result of having an explosive offense, depth, and a tough defense. This was really a complete team, unfortunately derailed by the Westbrook injury.
A different look for Oklahoma City. Patrick Patterson. He's checked in for Young. Walker comes in for Wesley Matthews. And it's Isaiah Thomas in for Singleton. Now here's Durant. Jones trying to get open. And Kevin Durant again.
He's got so much junk in his trunk. He'll find a way to hurt you.
And a little over 2.5 minutes gone here in the first. Thomas passes to Walker. Good, and the assist goes to Thomas. Walker's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. Thomas against Jennings. The pass to Reddick. Three-pointer. 1 quarter in the books, and it's been a close one so far. Kings lead by 1. After this break, we'll be back with the start of the second quarter on 2K Sports. Welcome back, everyone. We're ready to get going again as this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports continues. Players are topped off with hydrated and ready to get going again as well. And for the Kings guys, what jumps out to you, stats-wise?
Big boost from their bench there, guys, in that first quarter. They did a nice job coming in and really giving this team a lift.
Yeah, it's a nice attribute to have. Firepower coming off the pine early. That's good stuff.
The Kings leading. Walker with it. Outside Thomas. Back to Walker. From downtown, another three for Sacramento.
Boy, he found the perfect spot behind the arc there. Big gap in the defense.
You know, last season, the Thunder marched their way to the top seed in the West and spent most of the season battling for that top spot with San Antonio, and it was the Thunder's play on the road that was the big difference between the two.
You know, another note on the Thunder and the road dominance, you're always going to have to be fantastic on the road if you want to win in the West. And the Thunder, Steve, clearly the best in the West on the road.
Yeah, 26 wins for them, 2 more than the next few teams in the conference. And the only team that had more road wins than them on the year in the NBA was the Heat. So just a terrific season for the Thunder, both at home and on the road. Of course, kind of got derailed by the Westbrook injury in the playoffs.
Dawson's checked in for Sacramento. Durant hits them both.
Well, the business of the NBA in pretty good stead. The Kings sold back in May for a record price of $525 million, and the Seattle group had offered even more. Team value is certainly on the rise around the league. Better arenas, more lucrative TV contracts. Part of the reason that's the case.
And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to Doris Burke for an update. Hi, Doris.
Kevin, the Thunder are often seen as getting into one another during games in what looks like heated arguments. But that is the culture they want, as every player can hold each other accountable. Coach Scott Brooks describes it saying, "I'm with them every day. Did they have some competitive moments? Absolutely. But that's how we work here. We challenge each other. It gets chippy. You can't argue with the results, even if it looks like they are always at each other's throats, guys."
I believe it. Those must make for some good battles, Doris. Thanks. And back to the bidding war for the Kings with the great offer from the Seattle group. Steve, do you think there's a chance the league could expand to Seattle?
I think so, especially with that tremendous offer that the Seattle group put forward. And now the new CBA, it's made it much more favorable for the owners. I think in the next few years, we will see at least one expansion team, maybe two.
Just about a minute and a half has gone by here in the second. Udo dishes to Durant. Pass to Jones. Back to Durant. Shot clock at 6. Rejected by Harris. And that'll be Oklahoma City as it goes out of bounds. Thunder retain possession. Patrick Patterson, he's checked in for Harris. .121 left to play in the first half. Was shot by Udo, no good.
A lot was made about the Kings in their home last year, but it wasn't about how well are they playing at home. It was about where is their home going to be next season. The Kings are staying in Sacramento, but they played like it might be their last hurrah.
1:06 left here in the second. Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time getting the lid off the basket so far.
Well, good idea setting that screen, but the execution wasn't there.
No, it sure wasn't. I mean, you want it to be hard, but it also has to be legal.
And the Thunder making a switch here. Gortat's checked in. Here's Walker. They lead by 6, their biggest margin. Walker gets a screen from Dawson. Near the three-point line, it's Thomas. The second effort, and count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line.
He's making it look easy scoring out there because he's much more efficient here in the second.
The Kings have shot just one free throw, missing that one earlier.
And this club shot 77% as a team last year. Good, not spectacular, but solid.
And you go back to the Kings at home last year, 20-21 record, and it was easy to see just how much tougher a team they were in this building. You know, Steve, they really looked like a team that could compete with anyone at any time.
Well, this community really rallied behind the franchise, and there was a lot of worry that maybe this was the farewell tour for the Kings fans and the players. And they played their hearts out last year. You got to give them a lot of credit for really fighting, particularly down the stretch when things looked grim.
Now Thomas following Durant's three-point attempt. 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Thomas kicks to Batum. Shot clock at 5. Lets it fly from 18. That one rolling around and rims out. Now here's Redick. It's Durant with the drive. On the money with the shot from the left block. Durant's got 4 this quarter. Here's Walker. That'll do it for the first half. Kings ahead. They lead by 7. Live from Sacramento, you're watching 2K Sports.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Welcome, everyone. Let's see if we can spice up your Tuesday night with a little halftime report. The Sacramento Kings ahead against Oklahoma City. A nice job of sharing the rock, making plays for one another offensively. Isaiah Thomas getting it done through 2 quarters. And what a nice boost they've got out of DeMarcus Cousins as well. And doing their best to stay alive, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've been aggressive, drawing fouls and converting from the charity stripe. The game's leading scorer, Kevin Durant. When you talk about a guy carrying the load, this is exactly what you mean. Over half of his team points have come from him. And that's all we have for you here in the studio. Now let's send it on back to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke for the second half of play.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
All right, the second half beginning in just a moment.
You know, with the recent success of Oklahoma City, you forget that in Kevin Durant's first season, they started out going 3-29, and I tell you what, you talk about their success, it's due to the resilience and perseverance and leadership of Kevin Durant and the rest of those guys.
And here are the Kings now. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Gentlemen, for Kevin Durant, last season probably his best yet. Among other things, he increased his assists while limiting his turnovers. Durant said, "It's just a matter of being patient and waiting for the play to develop, whether finding my teammate or finding a shot for myself." Guys, he said the game is slowing down for him, and he understands that to win it all, he has to get the best out of his teammates. He can't do it by himself.
Well, you have to like that focus on the team first. Thanks, Doris. Now, here is Singleton. Following the miss by Wesley Matthews. Westbrook with the steal. He feeds it to Hayward. Back to Westbrook. Dishes it to Durant. Ibaka with the screen on Matthews. Hayward passes to Durant. 4 on the shot clock. 17-foot shot on the way. Kings leading now by 7.
Kevin Durant is one of the most laid-back and easygoing guys you'll meet in the NBA, but don't be fooled. He's as fiery a competitor on the court as anyone else in the league. He's a superstar because he has the talent, but also the drive.
Now a timeout called by Oklahoma City. And I think when you talk about the drive of Kevin Durant, Clark, it all comes from his love of the game.
I love watching Kevin Durant play. He is such a special talent, and you can see the inherent joy that he has in playing the game. I mean, it's palpable, it's obvious. He's a big-time gym rat, and he just loves to work on the game and continue to refine his skills. He's a joy to watch.
And the Thunder making a switch here. Jones is checked in. So it's the Thunder now. They trail by 9 points. Westbrook dishes to Gortat. Hayward. There's 1:26 left to play in the third. Jones kicks to Hayward. Off target from three-point range. Kings leading now by 9.
Well, you could see it at the start of the season that Oklahoma City was being driven by falling short in the 2012 finals. Their focus was on being the best team in the West, and they jumped on that goal right from the start.
Here's Westbrook. After Wesley Matthews score, Hayward, he's covered by Matthews. Hayward passes to Jones. Hayward kicks to Westbrook. And that one goes in as he is fouled. It'll be 3 points if he converts at the line. And for the Thunder, the second best regular season record in the league last season, Steve, at 60-22.
Well, and they had the best point differential in the league, Kevin, which I think is probably the best barometer in terms of how well you're playing. But clearly the Westbrook injury in the first round of the playoffs against Houston just completely took the wind out of their sails. And I would look for Oklahoma City to be back this year. With everybody healthy, they'll have a chip on their shoulders. They want to get back to the finals this year.
Sacramento really had a lot of problems finding consistency game to game, and it showed up when they would have to take on other teams in the West. Just didn't look quite as cohesive and as desperate to win as the rest of the conference, and that ends up costing you games.
Matthews, no good.
Good solid defense on the perimeter there, challenging the shot and not fouling.
Even the best shooters can be bothered by his defense.
And the whistle blows as the basket counts, and a three-point play chance right here. One free throw coming up.
Boy, where was the box out? Too easy on that second chance opportunity.
Yeah, no box out is what happened there. Those kind of mistakes on the glass will kill a team.
And the Thunder making a change here. The Thunder shooting the 6th attempt at the free throw line tonight.
Well, one of the highlights last season, this team shot the ball extremely well from the stripe. Huge factor.
You know, Kevin, they would love to post a similar percentage again this season. I mean, I think that's safe to say they'd love to shoot free throws as well as they did a year ago.
Singleton dishes to Matthews. And it's Matthews again missing. Here's Hayward. The shot no good. And we've watched 3 so far in this one. Kings lead by 5. And we're coming right back after this break to get the 4th quarter underway. Welcome back as we get rolling once more. The 4th quarter right ahead in what's been a very well-contested game. And guys, what do you think about the offensive approach we've seen so far for the Kings?
You know, one of the big stories has been the 3-ball. It's been a key part of their offense throughout the game.
And that's helped with their passing game, too, because they're getting a lot of assists by sharing the ball and moving it.
Thunder trailing by 5. Now here's Jennings. He kicks to Hayward. It's back to Jennings. He dishes it to Gortat. And stolen by Cousins. Now here's Singleton. Defended by Ibaka. Now Singleton. Pass to Batum. Tries from the block. Here's Cousins. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
Yeah, there aren't many players with the combination of size and strength and skill as DeMarcus Cousins. He's a great rebounder. He can pass. He can knock down a jump shot. So this kid can do it all. It's just a matter of putting it all together.
I agree, and with his length, you might want him to be more of a shot blocker, Steve, but he's one of the best in the league at taking charges, and that's surprising for a guy of his size.
Russell Westbrook in for Brandon Jennings. And Cousins drops them both. So it's the Thunder now. 7-point differential. Here's Westbrook. Kicks it to Durant. Back to Westbrook from deep. Matthews with the rebound.
A slight advantage for them in the rebound category. They've got to continue their work on the glass.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I mean, they're on the right side of the ledger, and that is all that matters to them right now with the lead they have.
Now, here's Batum. Pass to Singleton. Outside for Batum. Clock is at 3. Goes up with a stripe. And the basket by Singleton.
He's definitely got that shot in his arsenal.
Thunder trailing by 9. Outside Westbrook. Now the dish to Durant. This one for 3. Cannot hit. So the Kings will take it the other way. Matthews passes to Singleton. Singleton gets a screen from Cousins. There's the double team with Westbrook. And Young kicks to Batum. Back to Young. And he goes strong with the one-handed jam.
You know, there are a lot of bigger power forwards than him in the NBA, but very few that rise up like he can.
Now a timeout called by Oklahoma City. They're behind by 11. We've got 1:08 left in the 4th quarter. All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Yes, Kevin, during that break, Coach Scott Brooks had some words for his team. He said, listen, fellas, I know you're tired, but we can't coast. We've got to go harder. The win's in sight. We've got to power through it and go get it. Guys, pretty inspirational stuff.
We've got 1:08 left to play here in the 4th. Here's Westbrook, cans the 12-footer. Now a timeout called by Sacramento. They're leading by 9. And 1:01 left in the fourth. And we're around 2 minutes into the fourth quarter here. Cousins with it. It's Ibaka picking him up. Cousins inside, working on Ibaka. Oh, and the whistle is blown on the play as he was fouled in the act of shooting. Wasn't sure we were going to see a call there, but the officials saw the contact and 2 free throws.
That is young. 2 shots.
Good on the first, and that'll push the lead to double digits. And so Young nails them both. There's 49 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It's Westbrook with the drive. Feeds it to Hayward. Three-pointer. Out of bounds. Sacramento takes possession. And the Thunder going with a whole new group out there. We're in the fourth quarter here, just under 2.5 minutes gone. And here is Thomas. Patterson setting the pick for Thomas. Patterson a screen on Jennings. Again, the miss by the Kings.
He got the shot he wanted off that pick, just couldn't get it to fall.
But Steve, they'll take that play all day long, 10 times out of 10. That was good action.
Redick guarded by Walker. And it's J.J. Redick with the 3. Fourth quarter keeps moving right along. 3 minutes gone so far. Walker with it. So the Kings win it. They pulled off this win, Clark, with respectable performances on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I think it was just really a nice overall effort, Kevin.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And now we present the Jordan Player of the Game, DeMarcus Cousins.
And we've got it for you here on 2K Sports. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It'll be the Orlando Magic facing off against the Brooklyn Nets. And now let's get to the call by Kevin Harlan, Clark Kellogg, and Steve Kerr in Brooklyn, where they are courtside.
And we see a while ago the Nets getting prepared for the task at hand. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday night edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. Alongside Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. First for the Magic, Ricky Rubio is out there with Oladipo. And they've got Vucevic, the sweet-shooting 7-footer out of USC, in at the center. Then there's Tobias Harris, and it's Nicholson in at the 4-man position. And for Brooklyn, Bonner is out there with Johnson. And inside out of Stanford University, a skilled post scorer with tremendous size, the 7-footer, Brook Lopez. Then it's Jones, and it's Millsap in at the 4 spot.
Well, you know, it's still exciting to come here to the Barclays Center, this beautiful new arena, and you really like the fact that it's built to showcase basketball. Terrific sight lines, everything the fans could ask for.
You talk about the allure of the new arena, Steve. Even when teams are staying in the same city so often, a push is there for a new arena.
Yeah, that's the reality of the business. It's all about entertainment. It's about being cool. It's about kind of the brand, and I think that's where Brooklyn really made that huge jump last year. It was just the uniforms and the arena and the fan base and being in Brooklyn. It all came together, and now it feels like a world-class organization.
So it looks like the Nets will retain possession here. Lopez passes to Johnson. Back to Lopez. Takes it up with both hands and clips it down. This game's going to take a big swing. Clark, if the Duke continues to clear out like that and give up easy dunks.
Yeah, that's the kind of defense we expect to see in a blowout, Kevin, or even an exhibition game, not a close game like this.
Look how frustrated Steve is over it.
Well, I just, you know what, come on, I just like that he didn't choose to just lay it up. I mean, he threw it down with force.
And so it's the Nets getting on the board first. 5 on the clock. And it's Rubio penetrating. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a 3-point play.
Well, the drive to the bucket was nice, but how about the finger roll finish? Beautiful. Well, there was so much excitement upon his arrival in the NBA, Kevin. And Rubio did not disappoint. He's a special passer. Amazing court vision and touch on the ball. And I think it would be an absolute joy to play with this guy.
Yeah, and his teammates love it, Steve. That kind of passing virtuosity gets everybody filling those lanes and running a little harder, making those cuts and so forth, because they expect to receive a pass if they get open. You know, there was a lot of talk about the Magic not getting equal value when they traded Dwight Howard to the Lakers before last season, but you take a look at how both teams started, the Lakers and the Magic, and for a time there, the Magic had a better record early in the season than the Lakers. So I think it worked out okay for the Magic.
Here's Rubio after Joe Johnson scored. Rubio dishes to Oladipo. Kicks it to Nicholson. Millsap with the steal. Here is Bonner, defended by Nicholson. Well, Clark, like you said, hard to believe, but it's true. The Magic did have a better record than the Lakers for the early part of the season. But that was mostly due to a surprise down year from the Lakers, Steve, and a hot start for Orlando.
And remember, the Magic did get that big win at Staples against L.A. That was kind of revenge for the D. Howard trade. But as time wore on, you know, the Magic's lack of talent showed, and they really struggled the rest of the season.
The Nets had a really solid debut season in Brooklyn last year. They made the big move in trading for Joe Johnson, but they also made some small adjustments that paid off for him as well.
So we get them both. Well, Clark, as you said, a lot of people thought they would just be a top-heavy team with their starters doing a lot of the heavy lifting. But, Steve, they got contributions from all around.
Well, they didn't have big-name players on the bench, but they had some guys like Blotch and Evans who were kind of under the radar, but came in and played very well for this team a year ago. Now, of course, you got big names across the roster for the Nets.
Nets have gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. Here is Bonner, covered by Rubio. Johnson attacking. Makes the lead pass. Millsap. That one falls. Coming off the Johnson feet. The Magic have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. Harris kicks to Rubio. Back to Harris. 6 on the shot clock. Elbow shot is on the way. Paul Millsap with the rebound.
Well, the shot was there for him, and he had to take it. I don't care if he didn't convert. He's got to take that every time.
Johnson can't hit.
And it is very dangerous to leave him open like that. Lucky break for the defense that he missed it.
Oladipo. He's guarded by Johnson. Oladipo, the pass to Rubio. Pass to Nicholson. And the layup's good off the glass. Nicholson's got his first points of the night.
He really made that mismatch pay off. The defender giving up that much size isn't going to be able to put up much resistance near the basket.
And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. Nets lead by 3. Stay with us as we get set to bring you the second quarter right after this. Welcome back, folks. We have a close game here at the start of the second quarter of play. And taking a look at the Nets' performance here, Clark and Steve, what do you guys think about what they have or haven't been doing?
Just the start they wanted to this game. Solid offense. They got good ball movement. Established a nice rhythm.
Yeah, not stagnant at all. Free-flowing and fluid at the offensive end.
And a chance here to catch up with the fourth member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Well, guys, for Jason Kidd, who has taken over as head coach of the Nets with no coaching experience, certainly there's some apprehension about how he'll do. But one thing we are certain of, he knows how to lead. On Team USA, the coaching staff raved about Kidd's leadership in winning the gold in 2008. And former Knicks teammate Raymond Felton summed it up this way, saying, quote, "He's a great role model, a father figure who understands the game, understands life. I think he'll be a great coach. The guys will listen to him." Kevin?
I like his chances. Thanks. Now, Oladipo, after the missed 3 from bottom. Robinson misses.
Well, you look at the Joe Johnson trade for the Nets. They picked up his max contract from the Hawks, committing $80 million over 4 years. But, you know, last season, his lowest point output in over a decade. A down season overall, but hey, there's a lot of talent on this team. He's not expected to score as much anymore.
There's the bucket. Good.
Beautiful feed off the bounce to his teammate there. Nicely done.
Davis setting the pick for Robinson. Feeds it to Boozer. He kicks to Oladipo. Oladipo off the pick from Boozer. To the paint. Loses his man off the screen and lays it up and in. Boozer's got his first 2 points. And for the Nets, they started the season doing some of that isolation offensively for Joe Johnson that we saw in Atlanta, Clark.
And even with the most efficient individual scorers, that's not usually the way to go offensively over the long haul. With Joe going through a bit of a lull in terms of his shooting percentages, I thought they might have been better served to anchor the offense around Brook Lopez inside.
And Orlando has possession. And out of bounds as the Magic will gain possession.
Now, severe lack of awareness on his part. He had no idea he was near the out-of-bounds line.
The Nets making a switch here. And now the first timeout called here for the Magic. 1:15 left to play here in the second quarter.
When the Magic made the big trade they did to send an unhappy Dwight Howard away, everybody thought they'd be the doormat of the league, and that wasn't quite the case. They were able to sneak up on some teams early and had enough talent to battle others late.
And as good as their season appeared early on, the Magic did eventually cool off, and teams were able to overpower them. Steve, early on, they definitely caught teams off guard, I thought, and were playing well above themselves.
I agree, Kevin. They executed really well. They would run a follow and Redick off those screens. And Vucevic was a surprise, a really good young player down low. But they've got to continue to build this roster in order to compete at the highest level.
Jones checked in for the Nets. And that one falls, and that puts them up by 1 point.
Now, this is the second season for the Nets here in Brooklyn. It's amazing how quickly they've made themselves a part of this community. They've tried to capture some of that history from sports in the past. In fact, they have the flagpole from the old Ebbets Field right outside the Barclays Center. Kind of a cool historical connection.
4 on the shot clock. Bonner no good. The Magic have gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. Robinson kicks to Oladipo. And that one goes in as he is fouled. It'll be 3 points if he converts at the line. And for the Nets, you notice that unlike most teams with their jerseys, whether they're on the road or at home, it's Brooklyn across their chest.
I think that represents them representing the borough, Kevin, and looking to establish a new identity. And even if you aren't a big Nets fan, for Brooklynites, it's easy to throw on a black and white sweater or jersey with Brooklyn across the front of it.
Joe Johnson, he's checked in for Johnson. Bosch, a screen on Robinson. Bosch, the screen. Pass to Johnson. The feed to Bonner. The dish to Jones to stop the run. And Davis pulls it down. Here's Robinson. With the floater. No up. Great D that time from Bonner. Here's Jones. The shot is off. And a tight game here as we end the first half. Magic out in front, up by 4. And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
We're happy to be with you this Tuesday night. Keep it here on 2K Sports as we break down the first half. Orlando on top against Brooklyn. And give them credit defensively. They're boxing out, controlling their defensive backboards. And still hanging in there, the Brooklyn Nets. Second chance points, a major key so far. They've been the first to the ball whenever there's a missed shot. Leading the game in scoring, Joe Johnson. He's got 5 points and is also sharing the ball, picking up assists as well. And that's all we got for you here in the studio. Time to send you back out to Kevin, Steve, Clark, and Doris for the start of the second half.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Welcome back, everyone. The second half about to get underway, and it's been a close one so far. You look at Joe Johnson. He's really been playing well.
Yeah, he had a sensational first half, which was made, I think, even more significant given the amount of extra defensive help was paid to him.
Yeah, but for him, it's nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, we don't expect anything less. And I'll bet he continues to do the same kind of damage through the final 2 quarters.
Magic leading by 4.
Well, with only 20 wins, the Magic had the worst record in the league and a good chance to get the #1 overall pick in the draft. Didn't work out that way. They got the #2 pick, which isn't a bad second place.
And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, it certainly seemed the Magic were to be lost after Dwight Howard, but they have quickly turned things around. The development of their young players last year and nabbing the #2 overall pick in the draft helped speed that process. They took Victor Oladipo and now have a fantastic collection of young talent. We'll see how quickly they can get back to the postseason, guys.
Well, they didn't get it done last season, Doris, but they're hoping with the revamped roster, this will be the year. Well, Clark, as you said, for the Magic, they did miss out on that #1 spot, but in a draft where several players could have been considered, Steve, the top pick, they picked a good time to have their draft luck change.
Well, remember, this is a franchise that within their first 5 seasons had back-to-back #1 overall picks. One of those was Shaq, by the way, so they've had their luck. But I really like Oladipo. I think he's going to be a star in this league. I think Orlando has a building block for the future.
You know, there are not a lot of point guards who can flirt with triple-doubles, but Ricky Rubio is clearly one of them, guys. I mean, you know he's going to score and rack up assists, but he can get to the rebounding column as well. Some nights, he's right there in that triple-double range.
Bonner's shot good. The Magic leading by 4. Now, here's Rubio. He's got 5. Doubled by Bonner. Harris outside. 5 to shoot. Pulls from the top of the key. Kept alive. Nicholson's shot is off. Now here's Johnson. 5 points in the game. Lets it go from 11, and the jumper falls for him. Johnson's got 7.
Well, and Rubio, and I'm going to borrow a phrase here from Clark Kellogg right to my left here, a stat sheet stuffer. He gets rebounds, he gets steals, he gets assists, he's all over the floor.
You know, the big thing he has to improve, though, Kevin, is just his shooting. He does everything else well, but he's got to improve his outside shot just to keep the defense honest when they're guarding him.
Orlando making some changes. Davis comes in for Nikola Vucevic, and Nate Robinson is subbed in for Oladipo. .144 left here in the third quarter.
Now, guys, now with the Nets and the Knicks both playing in New York, it's just added to the rivalry that was already pretty strong to start with. But it's interesting, if you're from Brooklyn and you grew up rooting for the Knicks, who do you cheer for now? It's probably divided some households, a lot of rivalries in families alone. It should be interesting as this team takes further root in Brooklyn.
And the first timeout called of the game for Brooklyn. And back to this Knicks-Nets rivalry. The Knicks, Clark, are considered the more established dominant team, but over the last decade, the Nets actually have the better winning percentage. And it might come as a surprise to some. They've beaten the Knicks when you look at games head-to-head. And Clark have had more playoff success.
Yeah, when you crunch the numbers, clearly the Nets are considered the upstarts, but the fact remains over the last decade, as you said, Kevin, they've been the better team. And I think whoever you root for, with both of them playing at a high level, it's a great time to be a Hoops fan in New York.
Well said, it is. .119 left in the third quarter. Jones kicks to Bonner. Back to Jones. Lets it go from deep. And the shot is good. Jones has got his first 3 points of the game.
Good job creating just enough space to let that one fly.
Now Robinson. Robinson off a pick from Davis. Rubio, good look. Good, and the assist goes to Robinson. Robinson's got 3 assists now in this one.
Very effective screen to set up the jumper. That was the key to that play.
Bonner kicks to Jones. Millsap left side. Foul called that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
And the defense fouling there to prevent that layup, forcing 2 free throws here.
Nice job that time of attacking the paint and drawing the contact. They'll take that.
This is his first chance at the line tonight.
You got this, baby, yeah!
First one falls for him.
Clearly, Orlando was a team in transition last year. They had a group of younger, inexperienced players, and many times when that's the case, you'll get off to slow starts in games, and that certainly proved to be true for the Magic.
Both free throws good for Millsap. Well, Clark, you mentioned that the Magic were at the very bottom of the league when it came to scoring in the first quarter of games.
Steve, you got to get better as the game went on, obviously, but you can't start every game in a hole down like they did and expect to do well.
Well, we just go back to the roster, and that explains everything. I mean, you look at who they had, the lack of a go-to scorer out of the gates, and that explains the slow starts. So this is really all about continuing to build the roster and try to put together some talent.
The pass to Johnson, defended by Oladipo. For the tie, he got it up that time, but it wouldn't fall for him. We're at the end of the third, and we've still got a close one. Magic lead by 2. And we're coming right back. Be sure to stay with us as we get started for the fourth quarter. Thanks for joining us again as we get set for the fourth quarter. A terrific game so far. And a moment now to look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from here for the Magic.
Guys, they've done a nice job of drawing countless fouls in this game, and as a result, they've gotten a ton of points at the line.
And that's helped with their passing game, too, because they're getting a lot of assists by sharing the ball and moving it.
Brooklyn trailing. Here is Bonner. He dishes it to Johnson. To tie it up. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
Yeah, the defender draped all over him. Pretty plain and simple. Got him good there.
Makes it, and the next one could tie it up. The Nets making a switch here. That one drops. He ties it up. Magic shooting at a decent 44% clip here. Oladipo off the pick from Nicholson. He feeds it to Vucevic. Dishes it to Rubio. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
No slowing him down. Just some incredible numbers for Rubio. 10 points, and he's contributed 3 points from the line, too.
Yeah, those are always easy points. I mean, when you can get to the line and knock them down, sometimes that's the difference in the game, Clark.
And he makes the first. He hits both from the stripe. The Nets shooting a respectable 47% from the field in this one. Lopez, a screen on Rubio. Bonner dishes to Millsap. Passes it to Jones. Nets passing it around. Lopez kicks to Jones. Drains it from beyond the arc. And the Nets lead by 1.
Boy, just terrible defense there.
Steve, really just a layup line for the most part. I mean, not much defense at all either way.
Nicholson in the post. Millsap's there. Harris kicks to Oladipo. Rubio. 6 to shoot. And taken away by Johnson. Here is Bonner, covered by Rubio. Outside Millsap. Shot clock at 6. The Nets need to get a shot off here. They get the rebound. Lopez. Got him with the pump fake, but couldn't finish. Now Rubio. Rubio right side. Harris outside. Kicks to Oladipo. charity stripe shot. That one off the back iron and out.
You know, that mid-range jump shot is not his strong suit, even when he gets a good look like that.
Here is Bonner, covered by Rubio. They double-team Johnson. Bonner, back to Johnson. He passes to Bonner. From about 19 feet, the shot is off. The Magic go the other way with it. And over 2.5 minutes in the books here in the fourth. Rubio gets a screen for Nicholson.
Crucial basket.
They needed it, and he gave it to them.
Now a timeout called by Brooklyn. They're behind by 1. 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Guys, what do you think?
Well, and you've got the luxury here of running a play, so you want to do something that you're very comfortable with.
Absolutely, Steve. I mean, no need to panic whatsoever. I mean, they're in a very good spot right here.
Twenty seconds left in the game. Pass to Johnson. Defended by Oladipo. Johnson dishes to Jones. Bonner feeds it to Johnson. It's stolen by Harris. And they commit an intentional foul. It's another one of those so they can get into the penalty.
Yeah, you can't let them pound the ball and just milk those precious seconds away.
No other option here but to foul and hope for a few misses at the line.
Third minute of action now gone here in the fourth, and so they choose to intentionally foul. Good on the first, and that will put them up by 2. Both free throws here, so now it's a 3-point game.
Perfect time to be perfect at the line. Now only a 3 can tie it.
Now a timeout called by Brooklyn. They're down by 3. 5 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
With this much time remaining, they should be able to get themselves a decent shot at the basket. Still, a contested 3 is never an easy shot.
Five seconds left in the fourth. Bonner no good. And so the big win by Orlando in a tight game. Well, they don't get much more exciting than that, Clark.
They sure don't. When it was gut check time, this team kept their composure, kept their emotions in check, and got it done.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Norris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And now we present the Jordan Player of the Game, Ricky Rubio.
It's the Atlanta Hawks going up against the Golden State Warriors. And now our broadcast swings out to Oracle Arena, where Kevin Harlan, Clark Kellogg, and Steve Kerr have the call.